Sean Zattel, FightHype.com. Really a privilege to be able to come up to the summit and see the great Abel Sanchez, one of the real teachers, the real sages of the sport these last 2-3 decades. Abel, man, great to be here. I saw David Benavidez spar 7 rounds. What do you think of this young man after watching him?
You know,
up
I've
close
always thought David was a talent, just waiting to blossom into a superstar. He was here when he was about 16 years old and sparred with Gennady Golovkin. And I've had probably 20, 25 sparring partners up here for Gennady, and when Gennady was here, and David was probably the best that I've ever had up here. So I knew that he was going to be a champion. I didn't know how he was going to develop, but he's developed into a heck of a fighter.
Obviously, you know, you're not the one in there taking punches, but watching these guys up close for a long time, how would you compare the jab of David versus Golovkin when he was at his peak and the punching power?
Oh, there's no comparison. Gennady's on a level by himself. But David is a very smart fighter. David has very good tools. David has very good defense. David sets traps unlike a lot of fighters. You know, there's a lot of fighters out there that are fighting that just fight. David sets traps. David sets the traps that on things that he wants to do, and so that makes him a different kind of fighter. But Golovkin's on a level by himself. There's very few people out there that are on let's just say Golovkin, Canelo, Floyd Mayweather. Those guys are on a different level.
It's surprising to hear because the power and the jab are tremendous, and Golovkin was a 60-pounder, and you're still saying, even at 68.
There's no comparison.
Wow. But I know recently you did a really good interview. You said that if anyone has the best chance to beat Canelo, not necessarily beat him, but if anyone stands the best chance, it's David. Why is that?
Yeah, I did an interview with Marcos Villegas. Fight Hype. I just think David has the tools and the tenacity and the imagination to be able to counter Canelo the way he needs to be countered, to be able to outthink him, to be able to put him in situations that a bigger guy may be able to capitalize. Where in his last fight with Callum Smith, Callum just went in there it was a sparring session for Canelo. Didn't even try anything, where David is a little bit different kind of fighter. David will trouble him. Whether he beats him or not, who knows? Canelo, like I said, Canelo's on a level right now that is it's going to be hard to top.
You know, talking about the fight technically though, how do you see, is Canelo going to be able to get underneath the tall guy and get to his body? Is David going to be able to control distance with his jab, his range?
That fight will depend on the opponent. Canelo is going to try to do that, but if the opponent, as in David's case, would be able to keep him outside, I think David could. David could box him from the outside and could jab him. The question is he going to be able to keep him off for the 12 rounds? And when he doesn't keep him off, will he be able to counter Canelo? Because Canelo's got quick hands too. Canelo's inventive too. Canelo's very imaginative. He does a lot of nice things in there. So if David can keep him on the outside and box him and be able to pot shot him from the outside and keep him at bay, keep him at distance, it's a good fight for David, but it's a difficult fight.
I mean, you've had the chance to watch both of the Canelo too went up close when he was here. So.
No, but Canelo's getting better and better. Yeah. He's maturing. He's fighting good fighters that are making him better. He's fighting different styles that are making him better. So I saw him when I would say 10% ago. He's gotten that much better in my opinion.
There's some experts, people in the sport that think he's gotten even markedly better since the second Triple G fight.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. Yes, he's gotten much better. You know, he wants to be there. He believes he's the main man, and in his mind, he's going to work hard to stay there. He's doing the things necessary to stay there, and I think he's looking very good.
What is it, just as a trainer, that you see from him as a fighter that is better than 2 years ago?
Mentally, he just wants to be better. Mentally, he doesn't want nobody to be better than him. Mentally, he likes his spot. He likes his top spot, and he's going to do whatever it takes. He's allowing Eddie to coach him. He's allowing the coaching staff to initiate new things and do new things and improve on those things. You see him training when he's not fighting. You see him training. You see clips of him training when there's no fights involved. So those are the kind of fighters that are going to get better. Those are the kind of fighters that you're going to remember forever.
You know, do you think with David, though, it could be a case of great big man beats a great smaller man if they ever fight?
Canelo's not a typical smaller man. Okay, Canelo's not a typical smaller man. Canelo's got the skills to deal with 75-pounders. I wouldn't say cruiserweights, but he's got the skills to deal with any of the 75-pounders. the fights are going to be difficult for him are the fights like David, who is very technically sound, and also Bivol, who is very technically sound. May not be the puncher that Canelo is, or Benavidez is, but he's very technically sound. It just, unfortunately, he doesn't fight. He doesn't show us a little more of his versatility so that we could kind of compare him.
Well, you know, Plant known to have a lot of technical skills too.
Yeah, I don't think Plant is fought the kind of talents that these other guys have fought.
But you know,
But he's
the
very,
skills
he's very skilled. He's got great hand speed too. That's one thing that's impressive about him. But I just don't think that he's quite the mature fighter that these other guys are.
and because of that, you don't quite give him the same shot as these other guys to pull it off.
Correct. I like to see him fight one of these two guys that I just mentioned, Bivol or Benavidez, even a Joe Smith, to see where he's at, see how far he can go.
It would be great if we could get, you know, Caleb and David.
Oh, that would be a great fight.
Yeah.
That would be a great fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes the politics of this game they don't allow that. They don't let you mix the good guys against the good guys.
It is a business, right?
Yeah, it is a business.